We move across to Apple TV Plus for a new comedy series which arrived on Wednesday, the 26th of March. It's called The Studio. And here's a clip.
So, how do you feel in all this?
You know, I got into this because, I love movies. But now I have this fear that my job is to ruin them.
The job is a meat grinder.
Yes, so this is got Seth Rogan's fingerprints all over it as he satirises the movie industry, and it's pretty star-studded, to be honest with you, this studio. And it kind of it interests me, or it piqued my interest, because obviously Seth Rogan works in this industry, and he's looking at these kind of power struggles and the pressures and the complete chaos that no one really sees once these things are actually made, whether it's a television show or a film or whatever. And I think he said that he started because it was inspired because of real life experiences that he'd had in the industry. And they were all a bit like Adolescence, which we talked about last week. They were all filmed in one long tracking shot, known as a oneer, so that you could really capture that sort of frenetic energy of a studio, which, of course, again, we spoke about last week in Adolescence, didn't we? Where, you just kind of feel that pressure in a room, and by not breaking the shot, it's really conveyed to the viewer. So it's the idea, I suppose, is what it does what it says on the tin, really. It's the studio, and you get to see behind the scenes of what really goes on. And I suppose because Seth Rogan is in that industry, it's a fairly good depiction, I'd imagine, of exactly kind of what goes on behind the scenes. The one thing that interested me was how many people would be laughing at this, really. People that he's worked with previously who are like, hang on a minute, these are the industry secrets. Why are you letting everyone know that this is this crazy and what a nightmare it really is, backstage, if you like. So there's a few big names appearing in there. There's Ron Howard, Charlize Theron, Zac Efron. I mean, everyone's there for Zac Efron, right? Anthony Mackie, Zoe Kravitz. There's some really big names in this, and it is really very funny in places. I don't know what you thought about it. I kind of thought that it might be, when I first looked at it, I thought, do you know what? I think this might be a bit cheesy and a bit sort of sycophantic in places, but I don't know that it is. I think it hits the mark. Do you?
I thought it was very good. I mean, there's always the question mark over films and TV series that are about the film and TV industries. Like, do they appeal to people who don't work? Like, we had the franchise, didn't we, about the making of a superhero film. But this is really funny. And of course, Rogan he's just incredibly likable. He's the lead, and he plays this guy, Matt, who takes over as a studio head. And he wants to make kind of auteur type, really quality films. But the CEO, who's played by Bryan Cranston from Breaking Bad, he's called Griffin Mills. And if you remember the film The Player, which starred Tim Robbins and was all about a film producer in Hollywood, his character was called Griffin Mill. Coincidence? I don't think so. Anyway, so his brief is, because, there's all these films now that are about, toys or products, for instance, Barbie. And he's tasked with making a film based on Kool-Aid, the American drink. And coincidentally, at the same time, Martin Scorsese, who appears quite a lot in episode 1, wants to make a film about the Jonestown Massacre, which you think, that would be a good subject for a film, where, of course, they poisoned everyone by putting poison into the Kool-Aid and making people drink it. Hence the phrase "drinking the Kool-Aid." So, yes, as you can imagine, hilarity ensues. And, he's just obviously called in favours from so many people he knows in Hollywood, because, you got Steve Buscemi also appearing in episode 1. You got Charlize Theron's hosting this party. You got loads from Scorsese. And there's lots and lots of stars will crop up as it continues. So, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, if Seth Rogen never did anything more than Superbad, which he co-wrote with his sort of long-term writing partner and was in, he's already, he's done enough, because that was absolutely superb. But yeah, this is great. And I do think it's got a broader appeal than just people who, like us, who kind of know the workings of the industry. It was great. I absolutely loved it.